Good afternoon, colleagues, and welcome to this hybrid meeting of the Communities Committee. I would remind all attendees that this meeting has been recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I have agreed the attendance of some members remotely and would remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking. For any members of the public watching, please note that all the public committee reports, including details of specific recommendations, are available on the Council's website. Do we have any apologies or substitutions, Elaine?
Convener, we have apologies for Councillor Shepherd with Councillor Bell as substitute.
Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest or statements of transparency? No, nothing. Okay. Number 3, the minutes, and these are the minutes of the previous meeting of this committee on the 20th of May 2025, and also B, the Arbroath Harbour Joint Consultative Committee of the 18th of April 2025. Are these minutes agreed? Thank you. Number 4, Angus Local Access Forum membership, and to introduce that is Jill Parson.
Thank you, Convener. So this report advises the committee of changes to the membership of the Angus Local Access Forum. The purposes of the forum is to help support the council in terms of the exercise of access rights, the existence and delineation of rights, and drawing up of the adoption of a plan for a system of core paths. The report seeks approval for the appointment of new representatives to the forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions? Sit and pressing the button. We'll start again. We'll go to the recommendations. The recommendations is 1, to note the current membership position, and 2, agree to the appointment of Gillian Wilson, Gordon Hanna, Emmanuel Rio, Lucia Tignes, yeah, and David Brewster to the Angus Local Access Forum. Agreed? Thank you. Number 5, the Winter Roads Service Policy and Plan for 2025-6. And to introduce that is Graham Daly.
Thank you, Convener. This report sets out the proposed Winter Road Services Policy and details the proposed service provision for preventative treatment and snow clearing during the winter period 2025-26, together with contingency arrangements to cater for extreme conditions prevailing in conjunction with the operational issues detailed in the Winter Road Services Plan for 2025-26. I would highlight to members that there are no significant material changes to the policy or plan from the previous year. I would describe the changes as more administrative in nature, and these are detailed in the appendix if members would like to refer to that. I do hope that this report provides reassurance to members and also the public that once again we are prepared for the significant challenge that this brings operationally to our roads and transportation service and to our partners at Tayside Contracts. I am joined online by our road assets manager, Pete Morton, who will be able to assist with any inquiries you may have regarding this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. Do we have any questions? Councillor Devine.
Thanks, Convener. Graham, I was just wondering why our climate change hasn't been taken into consideration here, and it's dealing with frost and ice and snow and all of that awfulness of winter. But I mean, several years we've had it quite mild, but we've had a lot of flooding. We've had trees across the road because of the gales, I was just wondering why this hadn't been taken into account in this particular report. Thank you.
I think my initial thoughts on that, Councillor Devine, is that I think what you describe isn't necessarily just contained within winter. I think, in fact, only last month we saw significant rainfall in a storm Floris in August. Also, we've seen storms in early October, which is actually before we initiate the winter operational arrangement. The scope of this, and it is, I think, just a historical nature, it has been just contained within delivering the severe temperatures and the snow clearance. However, I do take into account what you're saying is that in terms of the frequency of other extreme falls, including, such as heavy rainfall and also high winds, I think it's something we'll take into account. But there's a very much I think an operational scope in terms of how we resource the traditional winter services. But I think the main thing is to say is that I think these challenges aren't contained just within winter. I would invite my colleague Pete Morton, just in case he wants to add anything to that. Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Graham. Taking that point on board, and I think you've answered that as well as I could. All I would add to that is officers are winter controllers who review the weather forecast and to determine our weather treatment, take into consideration what that forecast says and use it against our matrix that is applied. I think the difficulty we have and we always have is the unpredictability of winter. But otherwise, we do have a tried and tested matrix that is applied on a daily basis to determine the extent of service we provide.
Thank you, Peter. Councillor Bell.
Thanks, Convener. Just picking up on Councillor Devine's point around flooding and high winds, for example, that can occur, as Mr Daly says, out with the defined winter period. Our resilience groups in the community do an incredible job and really enhance the efforts that local farmers and tree surgeons contribute to the tidy up. In past years, there's been some confusion around being able to access things like sandbags and who's responsible for that. And I know some community groups have felt quite beleaguered about the demand placed upon them. So I just wondered if there's any change operationally in how we support those groups that are such an important assistance in helping to deal with all sorts of extreme weather conditions in our communities. Thanks.
Yeah, this is maybe out with the contents of this specific report, but I appreciate it's valid questions, important questions that you do raise. We do work closely with a number of community groups and resilience groups in terms of providing capacity. Obviously, you gave the example of sandbags, which is a common request. So we do engage directly with many community groups, and that includes helping to establish the resilience groups. A good example is often quoted is Edsel Flood Group that have been particularly effective and we've supported, and we've put in touch with other community groups. So we do our best in terms of direct engagement. In terms of sandbags, we also do provide these when required, and I'll invite Pete Morton in just to maybe just give an example of how we're proactive in terms of making sandbags available during severe weather. As I said, I can't help observe it is slightly out with the scope of this report, but happy to answer that question. Pete, if you could come in on that particular aspect, please.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Graham. Just to add on to what Graham said, we do generally between ourselves and Tayside contracts, when there's a concern around inclement weather approaching, we arrange for the sandbags to be, our stock of sandbags to be provided or made accessible outside our Tayside contracts depots. Beyond that, we do, as Graham highlighted, have engagement with various resilience groups across Angus, which we have accommodated requests for on a more of an ad hoc basis. I think you'll appreciate there's a different degree of confidence and ability across these groups as some of them are continuing to develop, but we will continue to work with them. Maybe to expand on that from a winter perspective, we have over the years had engagement with various individuals and various groups that are looking to increase their own resilience. We continue to work with them as and when there's a will to do so from the community. But understandably, given it's seasonal as winter, we tends to fall. The conversations sometimes fall off due to either individuals moving or other means. But we remain continually happy to engage with any local group or otherwise that wishes to expand their resilience.
Thanks, Peter. Councillor Proctor.
More of a comment, convener, if I may.
Hang on. Hang on. Is there any other questions? No. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I think regarding the sandbags, I think the system worked quite well, certainly in the past storms. I was involved in helping some of my constituents getting sandbags. I think one of the things only we really need to improve on there is to make sure it's better communicated. But the system works. And as I say, I was involved in helping some of my constituents, and they were there. It was just some people just didn't know quite where to get them. But other than that, I think it worked fine. And I do commend the winter programme that you've produced, Mr. Dillon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? Okay, we'll move to the recommendations. They're there before you. I don't think we need to read them all out. As recommended at the committee, notes number 1 approves, 2 approves, 3 notes 4 and delegates authority to the manager of the roads assets on number 5. Is that agreed? Agreed. Thank you. And that is the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Can you stop the live stream, please?